Picking up from where we left off in the last video, as a privileged user, we added 2 administrators to the chemistry group, Prof. Scott and Prof. Sarah. And we added 2 members, Lisa and Dan. To show what a group administrator can do, I'm going to open another terminal, File, Open Terminal, and make this the light theme. And I'm going to switch to Professor Sarah with sudo su-prof Sarah. As a group administrator, Professor Sarah can now add and remove user IDs from the chemistry group without needing to contact the IT department to have a privileged user add and remove user IDs from her group. Prof. Sarah can add Ryan to the chemistry group by typing G passwd-a Ryan chemistry. The dash lowercase a is the option for add a member. Then we need to give it the user ID of the member we're going to add, which is Ryan. And then we give the group to which we want this all to apply to, which is chemistry. Pressing enter, we see that Ryan was added to the group chemistry. Prof. Sarah is not a privileged user, so she cannot see what is in the etc G shadow file, but she can view who the users are in the chemistry group with get ent group chemistry. And here we see that Ryan was added to the chemistry group. Prof. Sarah can delete users from the chemistry group with G passwd-d for delete. G passwd-d Dan chemistry. So we're going to delete Dan from the chemistry group. Pressing enter, we see that Dan was removed from the chemistry group. And here we do the get ent again to show that Dan was removed from the group chemistry. Administrative users can also set, reset, or remove a group password. I'm going to set the password for the chemistry group as Professor Sarah by typing G passwd and then the name of the group, chemistry. We're asked for the new password, and I will type that again. And Prof. Sarah has just set a password for the chemistry group. I want to create a directory for the chemistry group, but Prof. Sarah is not a privileged user. She is only an administrator for the chemistry group. So I will switch back to the other terminal where I am logged in as privileged user Michael. And I will create the new directory with sudo make dir srv chemistry. I've made the new directory and I'm going to cd into the srv directory and type ls-lh so we can see the new chemistry directory, file permissions, and ownership. I'm going to change the group for this new directory to be the chemistry group with sudo chgrp chemistry. So we are telling Linux to change the group to chemistry for the directory chemistry. And typing ls-lh, we see that the group was changed to chemistry. I also want to change the permissions of the chemistry directory, so I will type sudo chmod 770 chemistry. And I'll show that update with the ls command. And here we see the root user has full access, anyone in the chemistry group has full access, and there is no access for anyone who is not the root user and not in the chemistry group. I'm going over to the other terminal again, and I'm going to exit out of Prof. Sarah by typing exit. And now I'm going to switch to the user ID Brenda by typing sudo su-Brenda. Brenda is not a privileged user, and she is not a member of the chemistry group. I will show this by typing ID, and we see that Brenda has the GID or group ID of Brenda. As Brenda, I will try to cd to change directory into the chemistry directory with cd srv chemistry, and we see she gets a permissions denied. But if Professor Sarah, who set the password for the chemistry group, gives that password to Brenda, Brenda can temporarily be a member of the chemistry group by typing new GRP for new group, chemistry. Now she's asked for that chemistry password. She can type that in. And now when I type ID, we see that Brenda has the group ID of chemistry. Brenda can now CD into SRV chemistry. And she now has read, write, and execute privileges for anything in that directory. As Brenda, I will type touch new file 1.txt. And the file new file 1.txt is created. Brenda will continue being a member of the chemistry group until she either new groups back to Brenda, types exit to exit out of the chemistry group, or logs out. I will type exit to exit Brenda out of the chemistry group. Typing ID shows once again Brenda has the GID of Brenda, and typing exit again takes us out of the Brenda user ID and I'm back to the Michael user ID. Now I'm going to switch to the Ryan user ID with sudo su-ryan. Ryan is a member of the chemistry group. As Ryan, I'm going to CD into the SRV chemistry directory. I will add a text file in this directory with touch testfile2.txt. Now typing ls-lh to see the files in this directory. We see that Brenda created her file with a group of chemistry, but the file Ryan created has a user and a group of Ryan. And looking at the file permissions, only Ryan can read and write to this file. There may be times when he wants to do that, but most often he's going to want to collaborate with the other group members in this group. Typing ID shows us Ryan has a user ID of Ryan and a group ID of Ryan. But he can temporarily change that group ID to be chemistry the same way Brenda did by typing new GRP chemistry. Now Ryan will create a file. And we will list those out with ls-lh. This shows that Ryan's new file has a group permission of chemistry, but Ryan may want to change the group for his testfile2.txt file. He can change the group with chown: chemistry testfile2.txt ls-lh to show that it's updated. And now all the files have the group of chemistry. Ryan's group ID will stay that way until Ryan exits out of the chemistry group or until he logs off. I will type exit, and his group ID is back to the Ryan group ID. I'll show that with ID. Ryan only uses this login for the chemistry group, and he wants to permanently change his group ID to be the chemistry group ID. To do that, we need to contact a privileged user. Only a privileged user can update the group ID. I'll switch back to the other terminal. And to update Ryan's group ID, I will type sudo usermod -g to set the group ID. Then the group ID I want to set this to, which is chemistry. And then the user ID I want this all to apply to, which is Ryan. In the last video, we used the user mod with the uppercase G, which removed all the group members and set the group to have a single group member of Lisa. Then we added member Dan with an uppercase G option, but we also had to use the lowercase a with the uppercase G to add or append Dan as a group member. And if we didn't have the -a, it would have taken out Lisa and made the group members only Dan. In this case, we just want to update the group ID, so we use the lowercase g, and then the group that we want to change it to, and then the user ID we want to apply it to. Pressing enter. That was updated, and we can show that with ID Ryan. Now we see that his GID or group ID is chemistry. And how I remember which G to use and when to use the -a option is When we type ID, we see the lowercase g right there for GID. So lowercase g is for the group ID. And we never use the lowercase with a lowercase. So the lowercase a will never go with the lowercase g. And we almost always want to use it with the uppercase G. In the next video, we'll look at more permissions for the Linux command line.